thoughts and ideas for you to use on your very own life mastery journey. Jackie and I are both here. We didn't get our intro music today, at least we didn't, so I'm a little rough on the edges, but let's just take a minute and get ourselves centered and situated and ready for a great show. Let's take in a deep breath and just let that breath out with a big ah, and get connected. Get connected to the all, the universe, God, Allah, the dude, whatever it is that you believe in. Get connected to that. It could be the tree right outside your window. Okay, now this time, think about those dreams, visions, and goals, and really create the vision of you being right in the middle of that. Let's take in a deep breath. Let that breath out with a big ah, and let those dreams, visions, and goals just flow up through your speaker box and out into the universe. And really consciously think about allowing the universe the opportunity to make those come true for you. There we go. Jackie's looking down. She must be busy doing something. Hi, Jackie. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm just trying to get us out on Facebook. It's not working very well.
Uh-oh. You need a second?
That's all right. We'll figure it out.
Okay. What's going on it's after July 4th. You're getting ready for some big time classes with the Speak Feed Lead project. What's happening there?
We have been giving lots of these little mini workshops, 3 days each week. Last week, we had 2 different groups, a grade 4 to 5 group and a grade 6 to 8 group that were doing persuasive speaking workshop. And we heard some great debates. Our final day had a debate, and one of the debate topics that the students chose was, should you help a friend cheat on a final exam? And so there was one side that had to argue for cheating and the other side that had to argue against cheating. And I am happy to report that those who had to argue for cheating had a really difficult time doing it. They had a hard time finding reasons to help someone cheat, and came to the conclusion that, it's probably something I wouldn't have argued for if I didn't have to as an assignment. But
that has great power, though, in getting people, period, whether or not it's youngsters or not, to think about those morality issues.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Then when that kind of thing pops up, they've already rationalized and reasoned how they would feel about that. And so the answer almost comes instantly, or they don't stop and ponder it or freeze and do nothing. So that's pretty cool. I would have never imagined did you come up with that?
I gave them a list of suggested topics, and that was one of them that out of like 6 or 7 that I suggested, but that's the one they chose. And so it was interesting that they chose this moral argument to make. And like I said, I was really proud of them. But I told them that some of life's greatest difficulties are trying to see the other side, especially if you agree upon one side of it. If you really feel that cheating is wrong, and yet you're placed in a position where you have to argue that there are exceptions to be made to that, it really builds empathy, right? And it helps you see the other side. And so I told them that it was really a great opportunity for them to try this tool and recognize how empathy plays a part in everything that we do. And that if we don't look at the other side of an issue, if we're just set in our own ways and we don't try to see the understanding of someone else, then we're not really going to grow. We're not going to have that empathy that we need. So it was a good lesson.
Lying's another one that would take a person down that thought, because especially for young people, I've always had this understanding that little kids are raised, right? They're brought up with the understanding that it's okay to lie every once in a while, right? I mean, dad goes to the store with the little one and they come back and dad has ice cream on his shirt, and mom says, you guys went for ice cream, and dad says, no, I don't know what that is, right?
Don't say anything.
Don't say anything. Or even Santa Claus, right? Little kids ask you about Santa Claus, and it's like,
I
oh,
know.
and so they learn early that it's okay to lie, and then they grow up to be adults and find themselves in some precarious situations. So yeah,
Yep.
that's a big one.
Yeah.
That's really cool that you're taking them down that road. And these, how old are these kids?
I had two groups, so there was a grade 4 and 5 and grade 6 to 8.
Wow,
So
that is so
they
cool. You're
they
empowering.
both chose that one, and they both had a difficult time with that. So
You're empowering them. So you have some classes coming up. Are those full? Are those reserved? How's this all working?
this week we've got an improvisation workshop, and we've got 6 or 7 kids in the classes, which is a good number. But it's going to be a fun workshop because it's just all play. It's play with communication, and it's have fun with your inhibitions, lower those inhibitions, and just get vulnerable and be a little embarrassed, and it's okay to do that, and just have fun with your team.
And
So
because of the situation, this is all online, and you can find out more information at speakfeedlead.org. Did I get it right?
yep, see, they're all behind me. Speak, feed, lead.
Or even if you have a big presentation coming up and you need a coach, then you go to www.JackieBaileySpeaks.com and hire her, because she will help you get through it and give you the tools you need to impact your audience and get the results that you are looking for. How's that?
That's right.
I could do
awesome. Thank you.
I could do commercials for
Yeah,
you.
well, you should make a commercial for me. You have the voice. Definitely have the voice.
Okay, I want to remind our listeners that today's show page is at www.lifemasteryradio.net or .com. Either one works. And any links that we talk about with our guests today will be there, and anything that we offer up. And then in a couple of days, Jackie will post a blog about what today's show was about. She highlights everything and makes it all nice and pretty, puts a little bow on it. And then puts it in the newsletter. That newsletter goes out and it highlights who's coming on the show, who's been on the show, and it highlights that blog post. It's real easy to sign up for. Just go to www.lifemasteryradio.net or .com, and right there, just give us your name and email. That's all we use that for, and you will be informed about the cool guests that we have coming on the show.
We have cool guests, don't we? We have some amazing guests.
And you know what else I tell people is that we just have a blast. I mean, if nothing else, just tune in and see how much fun Jackie and I are having.
Yeah.
Especially selling my book.
Dun, da, da.
You can find this. You can find the link to this on our website as well. It takes you to Amazon. You're going to love it. After you love that book and read it, it's kind of a short read. It's kind of a good read.
Tell us one of the keys. Give them a little taste. What's one of your keys of mastery?
Oh my gosh, you just caught me off guard. How about manifesting?
Manifesting.
That's a good one. And
yeah,
I think that we have a great guest today too that could help us with that understanding. Are you ready for the show now that you?
I am ready, but I am not good at manifesting, so I need to learn that from your book a little bit better.
It's all right here. I think we're going to learn that. Okay. Are you ready for the show?
I'm ready.
Our guest today is Kimberly Meredith, and Kimberly is a medical intuitive. She is a trance channeler, hands-on healer, and spiritual teacher, blessed with a unique array of extraordinary healing and psych abilities. Kimberly Meredith is quickly gaining recognition as one of the world's most gifted medical mediumship healers and spiritual speakers. Kimberly is a vessel for God, Mother Mary, ascended masters, angels, and advanced civilizations. My most favorite topic. I'm excited to talk to Kimberly about that. Kimberly is often compared to Edgar Cayce, another one of my heroes, the father of holistic medicine, himself a medical medium, and most documented psychic of the 21st century. The reason we invited Kimberly on the show today is she recently published or wrote a book called Coronavirus, Top 21 Protection Tips for You to Follow. It's a very informative book. I think that I was enlightened just by reading through it. Kimberly, welcome to the show, my friend. How are you today? Look at that big smile. She's just like,
I know. An awesome smile.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me here.
Thank
You're
you for
welcome.
showing up. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, this is amazing. You guys have the, I'm drinking out of my attitude
There
of
you
gratitude
go.
mug this morning. And I can feel the vibe. It's really positive and I'm glad to be here. I'm in my angel rooms where I do a lot of my my work in my condo. I have an office in Encino where I have other beautiful pictures there too, but I definitely really honored to be on your show today. So thank you for having me.
Thanks for showing up. You know what?
Thanks.
I hope you have as much fun as Jackie and I have today.
And it's important to surround yourself with things of beauty and things that bring you joy, right?
Totally.
So.
Absolutely.
See, look behind me.
Does R2D2 fill you with joy?
It actually does, because anything that, it's funny you said that, because I love Harry Potter. I love R2D2. I love anything that takes you into that fifth dimension and higher vibe. So yeah, that does relate to me.
Nice.
It's interesting that you say that, Kimberly, because my girlfriend and I, we like to watch this, series. We watched all Parenthood. I think we watched Parenthood twice and Bless This Mess and some other ones. So we were surfing around a couple days ago, and when I was younger, I was just fascinated with all things Merlin. I could not get enough. And so I found this series called Merlin, The Adventures of Merlin. And oh my, just what you described is you watch this and you get that body buzz like I just got.
Yeah.
Because of that thought and things that really flip your light switch on. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I know most people think, like, what do you do for your downtime? Like, what do you do? And I, of course, I work 6 days a week. I'm always laying hands and praying and doing my abilities. But sometimes if I'm just, having a little bit of downtime, I will secretly watch a Harry Potter film or something. So people envision me watching, Passion of Christ or a biblical film, but I'll put Harry Potter on or Star Wars or something.
Nice.
I really do love that energy, and I do believe in that energy.
Yeah, fantasy.
Well, especially during this pandemic, we all need those escapes, right? We all need to go to those places that make us feel happy or give us a sense of wonder or amazement, and so it's all good.
But I do believe that the energy work that I do is miraculous with the energy of God frequency, and God in science is emerging. So there is some truth to those energies. When I was born, I did have paranormal encounters. And so there is some frequency. I have children that'll come up on my table at these large events I do. They're dressed in Harry Potter outfits to get on. And I actually do, through the energy work of my hands. Yesterday, even in my office, I dismissed 3 lumps off of a lady's neck that she had through frequency of sound and chanting and dismissing through my hands. She was a doctor, and they dismissed within 1 second. So this is really so cool, and this has been going on way before I was even existing, that this is energy work. And like we spoke about Edgar Cayce, he said this would happen, and it's truly happening.
So let's go back a little bit, Meredith. I mean, Kimberly.
That's okay. Call you Meredith. Meredith is my middle name. So
it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was your last. So there we go. So Kimberly, when when you were little and you started to understand what you just described, paranormal occurrences, did that scare you, or were you open to it, or were you curious? What the heck's going on?
I was really scrawny. I didn't eat much. They used to call me Bird, and my nickname was Chan. I had a Korean Vietnamese name. My one of my relatives' uncle came back from Nam, and he named me that, and it kind of stuck. And it was kind of strange because I was raised in a Jewish Catholic family. And so they were calling me Chan, and I was blinking, and it annoyed my mom, but my Jewish grandmother loved it. She thought it was cute that I was kind of strange. And I would write like little notes around the house, please don't die, which was really weird. And I would write them around the house because I loved my grandmother. I had an obsession with my grandmother, and because she really loved me and coddled me and liked that I was different. And I would see like flashes go by, and I'd say, Grandma, there's a ghost. And she says, go, because we would watch movies about ghosts and stuff, me and my grandma. And I would put my hands on her throat, and I'd always say stuff like, I'm going to heal you. And she had asthma. And I would do weird things, like there was a dead bird outside, and I'd go run over and pick it up. I was no more than 3 years old. And I would put my hands like this and rub on it and say, heal, heal. And the bird would come back to life.
Wow.
And oh yeah, there was really bizarre things going on. And our dog had literally seized and was like, ugh. And I put my mouth on it and blew in it and go, because I had seen in a movie someone do CPR, and the dog came back. I mean, literally our schnauzer went like that and came back. And so all these like really weird things were going on. But I was really young, didn't really understand. But my grandmother was like, you're like my mother was, which was my great grandma. She was like, you're like my mom, but she had already passed on, which was my shaman grandma, who was born and raised in Italy. And she was a shaman, she was ran out of Italy when she had all these beautiful gifts. And they had moved to Jamestown, New York. And in Jamestown, New York, they lived next to Lucille Ball. And she was doing, this is really interesting, she was doing all her shamanic work in the back of a kitchen and keeping it a secret. And the doctors in Jamestown would use, I'm getting chills, would use my great grandmother, who I never met. And she had 6 kids. She wanted all, and my grandmother was one of them. She wanted all of them to get the gifts, but none of them got it. So she put all of her prayers into a little round sachet. And I never knew all this long story, but after I had my NDE, which is just a few years ago, and I had all of this traumatic thing happen and all this, the only living relative of mine that knows all of this, just to go forward, it's a story, is my aunt that's alive right now. And she's almost into her 90s, says that the sachet inside of it right now, because none of them got any gifts, it's gone on to me. Inside of it, which is so bizarre, because when I had my awakening after my NDE happened in the hospital, are Hail Marys and Our Fathers in Italian. So she was saying that on many people as she did the herbs, and she did different kind of healing than I do. She did herbs and kind of shamanic stuff, but those are the prayers that are in the sachet, which is so strange, because when I had my awakening, I started seeing the Virgin Mary. And I was saying, and I do say Hail Marys, and I call the feminine divine in on people. And when I dismiss tumors and energies off people, we rub our hands and we call in the feminine divine of Mary. And so it's so powerful, this message. But the sachet and the prayers, I don't know where they are.
Oh, darn.
maybe one day you'll find that.
But I do connect to my great grandmother, Josephina. I do connect to her greatly, and the Holy Spirit and Mary and a lot of civilizations work with me. So it's really cool.
It's interesting that because of your NDE, and we'll define that for people in the audience that don't know, that's a near-death experience. So what I heard was that your intuitive knowledge or your abilities were amplified because of the NDE?
Yeah. And also when I was young, just to go back, I had a very strong relationship with 2 people, my grandmother and my father. And my father also used to do games with me because he knew that I was advanced, had a hard time in school, was picked on, was bullied, because I was so weird and different and really, really bad, and stuttered, lines in my hands. No one wanted to be around me. My dad would play telepathy games with me. So he knew that I was sort of fast with all that. So he would say, I'm thinking of this color. And I'd say orange. And he'd go, you're right. I'm thinking of this. And so it was really advanced with certain things like that. I could do a Rubik's Cube really quick, which no one else could do in my class. But then I was failing because I had dyslexia. So, but he was kind enough, my dad, but both parents died very young. So it was very hard.
He kind of indoctrinated you into wizard training then.
He did. And my dad was very advanced. He believed in aliens, and he knew trigonometry. He was an architect and a musician. He was really advanced. Yeah.
Fascinating. That's just fascinating. Jackie, did something come to your mind?
My dad was super cool. I mean, he was rockin' cool. Yeah.
Aren't all dads? All dads.
Maybe they are. Yeah. Yeah. But we would listen to Led Zeppelin and Neil Young, and he was playing all that stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
So at what point then did you basically own what you had and own who you were and started using it to benefit the lives of other people?
Well, at 7 years old, my mother forced me to stop blinking, and I stopped it. And then the rest of my life, I just pretended to be normal. I tried. And I went into I sort of tried to pretend that I was a regular person. And then I was sort of, trying to just do that, but I still would have paranormal experiences through my life. I had a real obsession towards loving God. I always was very honorable towards people, but very shy. And then I had the NDE in 2013. It was a near-death experience, very hardcore one where I got hit by a car. And then after that, I had another one. So I had two NDEs in 2013. And then after that, there was no stopping me becoming a full-blown trance channel medium, which is meaning that I had to accept who I was and say it was okay to do it. And what happened is that many people are like, well, how do you have that happen? But when it happens to you, it's the spirit speaking to you very loud and clear, and you're hearing it, and it just comes through you. And then, so for me, it was very clear because I remember the eyes were blinking when I was small, and they started blinking. And then I saw God, I saw the Holy Spirit, I saw a ball of light come through my eyes and speak to me. I actually heard the voice. I don't know if you heard A Conversation with God, the book, or you read about it, but actually heard an energy of the Holy Spirit go, you are here, actually a voice, you are here to help, you are here to help. And it actually frightened me. I was like, get off of me, get away from me. I was like scared of the voice. I was like, please get off of me and get away from me. It was like really frightening. Yeah.
Wow. Well, so let me just, because I work with children, and you're telling me that you had to act normal around the age of 7 because you were different in the eyes of many people, right? As I'm working with children, Kimberly, what can I do to encourage this possible empathic power that they have without diminishing who they are? What would you have preferred people had done for you, or what would have been better for you at that point?
Oh gosh, to love me, to hug me, to be kind to me.
Okay.
Not slap me in the face for blinking.
Yeah.
Not sorry.
No worries.
Every time that I saw something that was, not
normal.
Yeah, thank you. You can channel for me. Yeah, not normal. That I was doing something special, that I was, and you can look at all my YouTube channels and testimonials, dissolving something off of a body, doing something super cool, not say I was lying, not
validate you, really.
Yeah, validating me. And, being taken to places like now, I've been to organizations and verified that I am completely 100% a trance channel. But the thing is that's most hurtful is being stared at your parent and told that they wish they never had you.
Hmm.
Yeah. Validation.
Yeah.
And you know, the understanding that all people are different, right? Bullying is such a huge thing in our schools today.
Well,
It's because people are different.
Jesus Christ was killed because he had special gifts. And now I think it's really cool to be different, and it's really cool to have a special gift. And also, sometimes the most vulnerable kids and special gifts are special kids are sexually abused
Mhm.
and bullied and hurt, and we need to protect kids, and we need to make sure that we know that sometimes kids that are of the light, and also adults that are of the light, people that are of the light, we're all have a special gift. We all are here to raise consciousness. And right now, especially in this time, the more that you have a gift, sometimes the more the dark energy is going after you. And
Yeah.
even I loved my mom, and she was very beautiful, but she was using drugs and alcohol. So it wasn't her a lot of the time. It was just an energy going through her, and she just didn't understand me.
So you mentioned the blinking. Some of our listeners may not understand what that has to do with anything, but that is part of your experience, right? When you're channeling or when you're receiving this inspiration or guidance, your communication happens through your blinking, right? So tell us.
Yeah, not just my blinking. The blinking is part of it, but it's downloads and connections. When I started blinking, it's so the left eye blinks when things are good, the right eye blinks when things are not good, but I have up to 41 different code blinks, and also communications through my hands. So I scan a body. So my hands are connected with my eyes, almost like an ultrasound machine. But also, I not only do that, but I speak to the dead. I also have, like, I could just look at you and go over you like that in a second. And I know if you have cancer, I know. So I'm getting communication skills, not just with blinking every single thing. I'm clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairescent. I'm everything. So it's blinking and communicating. So it's called like a trance channel. It's more than just a medium. It's beyond that. So I get downloads, and I know people just think it's blinking. The blinking means I'm in a trance, but I'm getting multiple codes and messages that are going on. So when people come in for a session or I do a Skype, I just go like that, and I'm getting messages going on. So I also so if someone has a cancer, I won't just get it through the blinking, I'll get hot flashes.
Oh, interesting.
So since 2017, I have progressed in my trance channeling. So like Edgar Cayce started at one point in one way, and then he went, so you keep furthering in your mediumship.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, the first time I heard about these wonderful gifts was through Anthony William. I don't know if you know who he is. He's a medical medium, I think is what he calls himself. I think you call yourself a medical intuitive.
Correct? I am a medical medium, and I am a trance channeler. And a medical medium and medical intuitive are really the same thing. But a trance channeler is somebody that goes a little bit deeper, meaning you're always in trance. I don't have to turn it on and turn it off. I am always trancing.
Yeah. Yeah.
The sleeping prophet. I'm the walking trancer.
And of course, the longer you do this, the well developed your skills are. And so it's
like playing piano. Yeah. It's like I'm always. Yeah.
Yeah. And you've got this clinic now where people will come in and you will do what you call this is scan them. And you can tell where their illness is. And
yeah, so I've gotten faster with it, and so but I also do I do actually more virtual Skypes now and webinars.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want to take a minute and just remind our listeners that you're tuned into Life Mastery Radio with Todd and Jackie. And our guest today is Kimberly Meredith. She's the one with the background, the angel wing right there, always looking over her. I think that's really cool. Kimberly is a medical intuitive. I wanted to make sure I got that right. And she has written a book called Coronavirus, Top 21 Protection Tips. Her website is thehealingtrilogy.com. Is that right, Meredith?
It is. And don't think I'm giggling for like some silly reason. The reason I was giggling is that it's almost so surreal for me because I've been doing this for the last few years, and I love what I do, and it's so amazing that the guides are here to help people, and I'm somebody you reach out to when you want to know a health scan and also awaken your gifts. And a lot of people come to me when they're baffled. How did this happen to me? And I don't need to know anything about you, actually. I just go through you, and the guides like to, the guides just love to find out everything they're just nosy bodies. And when you ask me what I am, like when you said, are you a medical medium? I don't even know if it's really called a medical medium or a medical intuitive. I'm kind of like a private investigator nosy body, because they just go in and find every single
curiosity
thing. Yeah, they're just like, we're going to go in and just find everything.
That's funny that you say that, because I've had numerous people all throughout my life look at me and say, well, why are you so curious? Why do you ask why so much? And it's just, I don't know. It's just part of who I am. I just want to know, right? I'm very curious.
Well, it's good. It's good to know the guides want to help people. They want to serve you. They want to help connect. Why do you have a heart condition? And then why is it connected to when you're using fluoride toothpaste? And then how can we go in and boost the immune system? So not only do I do the scans, and on top of it, I help with the healing, I also do nutritional plans. And in my office, we have oxygen. So there's all these different things. And when we do virtual Skypes, not only is it an emotional issue, sometimes something could have triggered the heart condition because maybe your wife left you. So we really get into everything to help you.
Wow.
Let's talk just a little bit about the coronavirus, Kimberly, because I'm always looking for the gifts. I'm always looking for the good in things, and I see a lot of transformation going on. And I have this understanding about entropy and how entropy, the result from entropy, are good things, really, really awesome. But during that time, it's kind of mixing it up a little bit. So what's your take? I'm just really curious what your take on the coronavirus phenomenon, and what are you seeing it move us toward?
That's interesting, because when you ask me, you're really asking them, right, which is the guides. And when we take a deep breath, inhale and exhale, and we get connected back to our breath, which is our power, which is our heart chakra, which is our throat chakra, which is connected to our immune system. What I get from that, to answer you correctly, is that we had a weakened, most of the people that I run into in the society right now, we had a weakened, I'd say probably 60% of our country, they're saying even more, had a weakened immune system before the coronavirus. When I was meeting most of my clients in my office, I get probably 80% clients have cancer and thyroid conditions and immune suppressed conditions. So I'd say this is a huge wake up call for our whole globe, that we were not eating correct. We were not taking vitamin D supplements. We were drinking bad water. Some of the tips that I talk about is, be careful about the water you're drinking. We were not aware, and I think more people are aware now. Totally. Hey, stop doing fossil fuel plastic. It's not that expensive just to go buy a filter and put it on your tap, on your sink, and drink that water instead of going and drinking out of the plastic containers. It's not BPA free. And hey, we need to make sure we're boosting our immune systems, because in case we do get COVID-19, we can knock it out. We're strong. If you have an underlying disease, where is that really going to attack you? Your gut, your leaky gut. Your gut is your brain. And we need to make sure we're on a great probiotic. I mean, I can go on and on. Do we want to really take a bath in our bath water without a really great, and I talk about it in the book, shower ball, that we make sure we're not sitting in fluoride. We want to make sure our showers have a great shower head so we're not breathing in steam, because steam has some horrible pollution that goes in our lungs. You don't want to get pneumonia. So basically, I think this has truly awakened society to our health consciousness, our eating habits. So everyone's kind of going, wow, pretending this is like something to read. What is in our food? Do we really want to eat this? You know, I'm sorry. I know it's.
Oh, you're totally correct. I mean,
you know, and also our attitude. Like, why should we snap at our best friends? Why should we snap at our loved ones? And we need a spiritual boost. And like, hey, ego or I go, why do we have ego anymore? We should be in love with the Holy One. Oh my God. God is so amazing. And the energy of God. Who is God? Some people are like, who is God? God is the almighty love that is back to love. The love is our word. And love is God. God, and I love religion. I love all people. And, you know, and what about racism? Okay, so color, character is more important than race. We should love everybody, one love. And so basically this whole thing is so important that is going on right now, because it's bringing us back to our grassroots, who we really are, who we really love, and what our family really is.
What do you, well, there's the biggie right there. That was going to be what I was going to ask you next is what do you think about this? You know, the family dynamic now is changing and evolving, and it was like everyone was forced together to get back to that very basic dynamic. What do you think about that? Yeah.
Well, I think it's showing us to find who our true tribe is, and our family, and our kindness, and how we treat people. So when you truly tap into what the Holy Spirit is, and what the energy of the, you know, it's not a religion. I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about peace, love, and light. It's a kindness and a lovingness. And so whether it's your spiritual family or your blood family, or what you stand for, or what you're doing out in the world, it's so important that we're doing it. So what I do every day, I have to go with what I do, is I get up every day, whether I feel bad or good or whatever it is, and I honestly do everything of service of God. And so whether it's my family, I feel like whatever we're doing, we have to love thy neighbor, and love our family. But also, if they're not your family, they're still your family. Is that make sense?
Yeah. Well, you are.
People don't even love their family like their family.
Yeah.
So if they're not your family, what are they? We're all brothers and sisters.
That's right. And, you know, there's a lot of love that people have for you, Kimberly, because on our Facebook today, as we're sharing this live, there's a lot of comments here for you. John says, it's great to hear your voice again. Dwight says, love you, Kimberly.
Thanks.
We have Cindy that says, you're so sweet, Kim. And Paul mentions Kangen water. Based on the conversation we're having about water, which I'm very happy to hear you say we should stop drinking from plastic, because that's been a thing I've had for a long time. Quit drinking from plastic. But
okay. Yeah.
And Lisa says, great interview. Love Kimberly.
Lisa's an amazing medium, Lisa Najjar. I love her. She's my sister. And I love the people that just wrote in. I'm crying a little bit because I love all my brothers and sisters. And I love that they have such beautiful hearts. And the one thing about Kangen water, I do get a small little negative blink, and I don't want Kangen to be upset with me. But because it is filtered through plastic, it's good for washing your vegetables and produce. But drinking, I'm a real advocate towards glass, because you have to be careful right now, because there's Mountain Valley spring water. That's a great water out there, or just going through the faucet with a filter that just is not made out of any kind of plastic. That's all.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
You give some great tips here to help us to boost that immune system. You have a wonderful recipe here for a smoothie. Yum, yum, yum.
Yeah, I have a lot more smoothies coming out, by the way.
Yeah, do you? Well, I noticed that this one, at least the two of them that I think you mentioned in the book, are non-dairy. Is there a reason that you purposely left out dairy in your smoothie recipes?
I'm not a huge fan of dairy. I'm not, okay, so I have a bigger book coming out in April 2021 with a really great publishing company called St. Martin's Press. And in that book, I have a lot of diet recipes for plant-based, vegan, and grass-fed meat eaters. And I'm more vegetarian, but I do eat some meat sometimes, but I'm more vegetarian. But I just feel sometimes milk products can be hard on the stomach. I think if you want to do flax milk, it's okay. But some milk can cause an overload of estrogen in the body. And I'm not a fan of fish because there's high levels of iodine. I've been tested at, some of the bigger organizations with doing testing on fish, and I get a negative link. Plus, some of my ladies that have hormonal imbalances, I've had high amounts of ladies on fish. I don't know your thoughts on fish, but right now, I don't really feel there's any really clean fish out right now.
Well, I've never thought much about the iodine. I've always worried about the mercury more because
iodine and estrogen levels are high in fish.
Interesting.
Because we're urinating in the toilets that goes to the ocean, and the fish are pretty polluted. The ocean is pretty polluted with plastic also.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You know what, Kimberly, what would you say? I often think about this too. And Jackie and I belong to this huge organization that used to meet in person, right? So we're talking 20 to 30 people that would meet in person on a regular basis. What I'm speaking about is Toastmasters. And you would get that connection and that sense of family. And
yeah, I know them.
Yeah. And now we've moved to totally online. We have our meetings online. We're connecting with people online. We're not getting that real one-on-one FaceTime. I'm curious about your thoughts of groups like this that are connecting on a regular basis, what they can do or what we can do to make that connection stronger. Is there something that we can be aware of, not just with this electronic interface? Does that make sense? Did I get that right?
Yeah. I know from just myself, I have my online webinars. I have an angel club, and we meet almost once a week. I don't know but when I do my Mother Mary webinars, and when we have our online webinars, we do it through Zoom. Are you guys coming in like in a gallery?
Through Zoom with a gallery view, and we get to see everybody's faces.
Yeah. So
what kind of practice can we put in place? Is it a conscious awareness?
It's very powerful for us, and we really love it. And what I do on mine is we start out with a spiritual teaching, and then I do the scanning across the room, and then I do an activation on everybody, and then we do a Q&A, but we do a lot of praying also, chanting and praying. So
so you think that bridges the gap of the connection that we're missing, being in close proximity to each other?
Also, I think that if you can have everybody go into a different dimension. So what I do is I take everybody out of the third dimension, which we're in right now. We're in a third dimensional world of greed and fear and worry. So if you could take them and move them into the fifth dimension,
interesting.
And that's what I do in my work. I take people and move them into a fifth dimension.
And that could be just through, just a simple opening exercise of just bringing everybody into being consciously aware of the
and I've done this with people that have businesses. I've gone into their businesses and I've taught them how to take their program into a fifth dimensional consciousness.
Right.
Fascinating. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. What do you think, Jack? I just think that in our Toastmaster world,
Yeah.
there's a lot of benefit for us to be on Zoom and learning this new technology and this platform. But because of that, I just don't want us to lose that one-on-one connection and that group connection that, you know, when you get a group of people together, Kimberly, it's just that energy. And I'm not so sure I'm picking up on that over a Zoom call.
I think the Zoom calls is where it's at. I think the world's going virtual. I think all the expos that I was headlining, I have one coming up in October with Marianne and Michael Beckwith, and all of those expos are going to have to turn virtual. Yeah. I think that the world is going to be virtual, and I think your Toastmasters is going to rock. I think that you will become, they're telling me, really super cool. I think that it's just going to evolve more, and that you know, this is the wave of the future being on Zoom.
Oh, I totally agree. There's no way to go back. It's just,
they're blinking. Yes.
Yeah, we just have to understand how we can enhance it, because
they'll help you, the guides. They're blinking in, because I channel multidimensional beings, and they're telling me they're blinking number 5, so 5th dimension. You just need more. You need to integrate more in the 5D. That's all.
So okay. So going back to myself as a teacher of children and teenagers, how do I bring them into this 5th dimension without them feeling uncomfortable or woo-woo? You know, how do I do that?
Here's the secret about children. Children are actually more into they're more like, they're like animals. They're more in the 4th dimension, and we try to push them more into 3D. Yeah. So the 4th dimension is, kids are more apt to be in the 5th dimension than you think. Lots of kids are already halfway into the 5th dimension.
Yeah.
They love being in the 4th dimension.
So is there some sort of
it's the adults that push them back into 3D.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure that's the case. I know that there's probably a lot of children that have this natural empathic ability.
Yeah, I have a lot of kids.
But it's being suppressed in them because, like you were told, you're different. Stop acting that way. People don't like you because of that. And they're tuning out of their natural abilities, right? They're shutting them off.
Most of the time, kids that are in the higher dimensional energy love arts and crafts and whatever they're into musically, or they're different. They like to put, you know, if a boy likes to put makeup on or dress like a girl, or a girl wants to dress like a boy, or they want to experiment with things, I think that's cool. I think to push them down or suppress them is not okay. And I think that if they want to, if a girl wants to play sports, or if a boy wants to do, I just think we need to let people be the way they are, or feel the way they want to be. That's or right. If kids want to, because that doesn't mean anything. It just means they're being free spirited and trying fun things. And, you know, maybe I'm going to be getting people upset right now saying that, but they're saying God is going, God, that is okay. And then if they want to sing, or if they want to try on different hats, God is saying we try on hats, because we are all one. We are all love. Our spirit and soul needs to be expressed and be who we really, truly are.
Cool.
Oh my goodness, ladies, we just have about 5 minutes left. Did you have fun, Kimberly? Is this just a blast? I just love it. And you are such a great guest, and you have such great energy and great information. Is there anything that we're missing, Kimberly? Is there anything that I would really love to have you back on the show too, because I think there's a lot more to talk about. And look at the smile on Jackie's face. She's having fun too.
Jackie's amazing. I love Jackie because she is helping children. I love you too, Todd.
I help Jackie help children.
Well, no, I just want people to know that through God and the 5th dimension, everyone can experience, you know, whatever's going on in their lives, that at any moment, at any time, they can experience a miracle, and that miracles are happening all the time. and that sometimes we push them away. And like, if you're sick right now at home or something's going on in your life, that just be open to that, open to the miracle, open to the experience. It's not a religious belief. It's about accepting the power of your higher consciousness, that God is a higher frequency, and God can come into your body. You can have a transmission at any moment. And I swear that, like, I've had clients been told that you have 24 hours to live, you have 4-stage cancer. They called me the other day, Kimberly, I am totally 100% cured. I'm feeling amazing. I'm going home. And I'm like, rock on. So at any moment, at any time, you can have a spontaneous healing, and it's so amazing.
Yeah, the body.
So how do people get a hold of you in order to learn more about this and have you help them with that?
Yeah, so my website is The Healing Trilogy, thehealingtrilogy.com. And I'm available to book sessions with me through Skype and through my office right now. We are open right now, and we plan on staying open for the next few months unless we're locked down again. But right now we're open.
And you're in California, correct?
I'm in California, but I Skype around the world.
Yeah.
And the book is free. The book that we talked about a little bit, coronavirus, top 21 protection tips. You can find that, and it is free. And it is a really good read. I think it's like 64 pages, but it is just packed with all kinds of cool information.
Yeah. And there's also an Audible, but that's not free. That's on Amazon. And that is so cool because I have this really cool actor that was on Teenage to Sabrina Witch, and he did the Audible, but I do a small prayer in there with my voice, and that's on Amazon, but that's not free. But the book is free on my website.
Yeah.
Cool.
I downloaded it and read it. And
thank you for reading it.
Yeah. And where do they find that? The free version of that?
Everything could be right on the website.
On the website. Okay.
If you sign up for my newsletter, you get a free track of my Angel Awakening CD, and you get the free track is called Starseed.
Nice. Well, thank you for all you're doing, Kimberly. I love to know when people are sharing the special talents that they have. And we all have special talents, but many of us just don't share them. And so when I learn of someone who truly is sharing their talents to help other people, I'm amazed. So thank you for doing what you're doing.
Yeah, and just remember out there, it's okay not to be okay, and know that you can fill your heart with the energy of God, and God loves you, and yeah, everything's moving. We're all moving together, and we're all learning together, and things are
nice. I hope you be open to coming back on the show, because I really enjoyed the show today. That's all we have time for today. I'm so sorry that it goes by so fast. Lastly, check out Kimberly. You're very welcome. Check out Kimberly. We have the links on the website. And lastly, just do me a favor and make it a great day, because it's all about choice. Yes. Bye-bye for now. Oh, tell your friends about the show. Tell your friends how much fun we have. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Jackie. Bye, Todd.
Bye.